Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It is time for a brand new video. This is the Daniel Farke's presser reaction ahead of the game against Aston Villa on Sunday. It was a lengthy one. We knew it was going to be a long one today. There was some good stuff in there, some truthful stuff, but also some things where you think it's kind of contradictory, but we'll get into that as the video goes on. Before I continue, please like the video. It's free to do, helps out the channel. Thank you to Phil, Mr. P, and Russ for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated, guys. And of course, as always, big up to every single member of the channel who helps this thing go. Your support, I can't overstate it enough. It means the world to me. So thank you for that and keep it coming. So Daniel Farke did speak at length today, and I advise you to go and watch it if you want the full thing, because it was lengthy, man. It was a long one. There was a lot of waffle. There was a lot of things that could have been cut out of this one, but obviously under pressure, he was over-explaining himself a bit today. Notice today as well, as you'll see probably from the title, I think somebody had a word with him about the emotional word. And he did his best to not use it, but then the journalist brought it up later in there and it kind of slipped out a couple of times later. But he replaced emotional fans with passionate. So that'll probably be the new buzzword going forward. But I do get the feeling, because like I say, I speak to a couple of people at the club. I was surprised before that he kept on saying it. I think it was very deliberate today that he was not saying emotional fan base, up until one of the journals did mention it, and then he kind of slipped out later in the interview, in the press conference. So I think there was a very mindful decision not to keep saying emotional, but replace it with passionate. So that was pretty funny to see, because you could see he wanted to say it, he's like passionate. But yeah, but look, guys, big game this weekend. They're all big games, aren't they? They've all been big. But this one is it. If there's one of the games that you think we're going to get something out of in the next ones, it's probably against Villa, you know. And like we'll do the preview tomorrow. That will be live at 5. I will be live at 5 for the preview. Then obviously the match reaction Sunday. But good news on the injury front is that no one's injured. Everyone is available. Some of you will say, "Oh, that's a shame," but no, everyone is available. And he was asked at length about DJ and Willie Gnonto. He went into a near 10-minute explanation, or talk about Daniel James, and this is just a brief version. Nobody in this room supports DJ more than me. On my first day here, I said he will be a key player for us. I've always been asked why Solomon, Anthony, Jaden Anthony, or Ramazani have not played, but that's because I know what Daniel can do. Obviously, he's talking about championship level there. Also on Gnonto as well. I love Gnonto at the end of last season. We forget how young he is. We have to be careful. My job not to create a culture here that when we lose, players who did not play are the winners, because it leads to an atmosphere of hoping the team loses when you don't play. And he mentioned this a few times in this presser about, if just because we lose a game, that shouldn't then mean that the players who are not playing see it as a victory, because it means that they should be coming in. Now, I'll say this isn't unique to Leeds United. This is from players that I've spoken to. Of course, as a team, they want to win. But if someone's in their position and they're playing poorly or they get injured, there is like a slight delight for that player that says, well, now it's my time for my opportunity. So that is no different. It's not unique to Leeds United. But I don't think he's saying that anyone's actively rooting for people to play poorly. But he's just saying he doesn't want to create a culture of that. But that should go without saying for every single football club. But we've seen it. I mean, we've even seen Mane recently talk about him, Salah, and Firmino and the rivalry they had. That's at the very tippity top level. So it happens in all dressing rooms. But what he's trying to say here is that he doesn't want players who are not playing to seek it as an opportunity when we do lose to say, now it's my time to shine. Kind of get it. But then there's also the flip side of, if someone keeps on playing poorly, they should be coming out. I would say that's fair. Let me see what was next, or what was important. Just about building up Gnonto and DJ as well, who haven't been involved in the first team lately. I know that will equal that Brendan Aronson is playing. We'll speak about team selection tomorrow, but it sounds like he's going to try and ease Gnonto back in after a few injury issues. He was asked about the pressure in terms of the job, and he said this: I cannot waste energy for self-marketing. If you follow our way, you know what we're trying to do and how we're trying to win. It's normal to have ups and downs. This was our poorest period, and he's talking about the games against Brighton and Forest. Fair criticism to mention this, but my job is to protect the players. I did find that funny, though, when we've had 2 videos literally this week of Farke and DCL coming out with PR propaganda. So that's another bit of the contradictory thing that I was talking about earlier in the video. We are a club that polarizes. You either love it with all your heart or it's the other way. If we have a poor period, I know from everyone outside the city will try to provoke and tear us apart. I have to be a shield for the players. They are trying everything to be successful. And maybe he's talking about Jamie O'Hara here, but it has been said about Danny Farke during this break, obviously, that people are surprised that he's still here, that maybe his job is in jeopardy. But yeah, Daniel Farke for me today sounded like he was listening to a lot of stuff over this break, whether it be from journalists, whatever the media was that he's been picking up, whether it be people passing on things that have been said about him. He was very aware of stuff that has been said during this break, very, very aware, which I found very interesting as well. I see why there is criticism after the last two games. We were pretty self-critical too, but over the last 11 games, not once have we dropped in the relegation zone yet. We heard that on the Sky. Asked about the cutback defending, which we've mentioned many times about what needs to be, cleaned up. Cutback defending, normally good. At Brighton, not good enough. Not enough pressure on the board in the build-up. Always compact, never open, but bravery into duels was the first problem. Defending the cross and the box were not spot on. Spoke about it internally a lot. Worked on it in training. And my thing with this was he was careful not to mention names. He didn't want to single out individuals. Obviously, on here, I've spoke about it for quite a couple of them, maybe even three of them. Goodmanson has literally been the first bit of the where it's gone wrong, where he has not gone tight enough to his man, and then from there it's just a mishmash of everyone looking around in the box and not picking up anyone. The thing is with this, I'm glad he's been working on it. My only thing is the thing I was thinking of when he was saying it was that you can work on it with the players that we have in terms of their movement going forward. These players are nowhere near what we're going to be up against. Just take Villa, for example. You got Buendia, who's in good form at the minute. Watkins, who can be, a top striker on his day. Morgan Rogers. We don't have not one of those players in training to practice against and go, yeah, that's what it's going to look like. We're working with what we got. So that's the best that we can do, but it's on the defense as well. This isn't just on Danny Farke. This is on the defense that they need to clean up as well. There was some more as well, more possession. We know that as well. Yeah, I've always said, and this was after the journalist had mentioned emotional, and this is where Daniel kind of lost the passionate word and went with emotional. I've always said I'm here because the club is emotional. That's why I say this. I tell the players not to be led by emotion, because if we did, we would not turn up after a loss and stay in bed. And if we won, we'd party all night. We have to be together. And again, he repeated that a few times in this presser as well. Was there anything else of key here from Breran that he put? No. Other things that I picked up was Danny Farke also repeated a few times in this one that we do not have the individual quality. And something I've said many times on here, and again, because I know a couple of people at the club, I do wonder if they picked up some stuff. But I've said many times, if this team does not perform at least a 7 or 8 out of 10 collectively, we're going to lose the game. We are. It's as simple as that at this level. We cannot underperform in any game. He also mentioned about we're going to lose more games than we're going to win. He's correct with that. Don't know if you want to hear that from your manager publicly, but he is not telling any lies there. So no issue with that. What I just got today overall from the presser was that Danny Farke is very secure in his job. And I mean, I look at him and I think this should be a man that is under severe pressure if he loses the next game. I didn't feel that today. And I'm very interested to see if you felt that. I didn't feel that he feels like he's under any pressure in the next run of games, that he's got to pick up a certain amount of points. We've heard from the Mail that they believe that we've got to pick up another 4 in the next few games. I don't get the feeling at this moment in time. Maybe it changes after a couple of defeats if that is to happen. I just feel like Daniel Farke is very much in charge here, and that the 49ers are fully backing him, and that there's not much danger of him losing his job. I just don't feel it. And I just got to say as well, just on a quick note from this week, seeing the journals retweeting about Marcelo Bielsa always happens in the international break. I've mentioned it on here before. Whenever it's an international break, you get Bielsa content out the wazoo for some reason. Between that, the official account with the Jack Harrison happy birthday, which I know fine, okay. But then today with the 20 pictures versus Aston Villa, and you got Tyler Roberts in there. I just feel like this club is just so comfortable in mediocrity. It stinks to me. And it's not what I envisioned when we got promoted, man. And I'm not going to rant on this again. I'm just so disappointed with where we are and the players that we've got to rely on. Speaking today of DCL and all these guys, it sucks, man. It just sucks where we are, and that's why, like Daniel Farke said today, they have to perform at their best levels to get anything at this level. And that's where I didn't think we would have to be. I thought that maybe we'd have a couple of players left over where you go, okay, we can account for those, we can cover for those with the other quality we have. But we literally have a team full of, we have to perform at the top level, otherwise we're cooked. And that's where it is for me. I just feel like the club is just so comfortable in mediocrity, and it just seeps into the fan base as well. But that's just me from the feeling that I've had from watching the media in regards to Leeds United this week, from the official accounts and also journalists as well. But yeah, that's just me. But like I say, was there anything else from the presser that you picked up that of importance? And like I say, we'll be back tomorrow with the preview, and we'll go through score predictions and lineup predictions, or your preferred lineups for tomorrow in tomorrow's video as well. But yeah, just give me your thoughts on anything Farke discussed. If there's anything that stuck out to you, like the video before you go, and I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace out.